I've been seeing one too many, and I am so sorry, but I've been seeing one too many white people, especially white men, come on this app and complain about the lack of third spaces. Stop complaining to us. Go and complain to your parents. Your parents were comfortable turning everything under the sun into a parking lot and building roads through every single person's neighborhood because they didn't want black and brown people around them.
Our generation is so depressed because we don't have a third place. In our parents' generation and almost every generation before that, there were three places: work, home, and social gatherings. If you had a shitty day at work, you could look forward to going to the pub after work with your friends. Or if you get into an argument with your wife, you could go to the golf course and hang out with your buddies. Or if you're feeling lonely on a random Tuesday, you can look forward to your darts or pool league after work. Every single generation before ours had this third place of gathering besides us. The sense of community and belongingness that people used to have at this third place, like it or not, made it a lot harder to be depressed. Nowadays, most people do not have three places, they have two and sometimes even one. Either work and home, or sometimes just home because people work from home. That sense of community, the sense of belongingness, the social gatherings that people used to rely on a daily basis are completely gone from our generation. I don't know about you, but if I'm by myself for too long, anxiety, depression all kick in and I need to go out and see people and hang out with friends and be social. This lack of a social setting is a major reason why I think depression's way higher today, and we need to bring back social gatherings. Bring back the local pub. Bring back the darts leagues. Bring back pool. Bring back the golf leagues. Go out outside of your work, outside of your house, and do something on a daily basis or a weekly basis that makes you feel part of something and gives you a sense of community.
I've been so obsessed with the conversations surrounding third places for a while. If you haven't watched that video, you really should. Something I haven't heard really anybody talking about when it comes to seeking out and nurturing these third places is an earnestness and vulnerability that is required. Of course, there are so many other variables that make creating a third space difficult, like money, access, time. Entering a new place with the goal of fostering community requires vulnerability. You can't just make friends by showing up somewhere a lot. You have to talk to people. You have to be involved to a degree. The reason why I'm saying all this, the reason why I know this is because I found my third place 2 years ago, and it genuinely changed my life for the better. 2 years ago, I just went freelance. I work in fashion, doing content and writing. I'm by myself a lot. And in my position, I have to approach my career and my gigs as an expert. It feels so separate from Mandy, the person I really am. So when my friends and I decided to sign up for a shuffleboard league here in Brooklyn, totally on a whim, no experience, not knowing anybody, I was totally prepared to be the worst at something. And I just can't say enough good things about being a beginner and letting yourself be bad at something. It's so freeing to suck at something that you just think is fun. Forgive me for the earnestness, but it really did teach me so many amazing lessons. Like, you don't have to be good at the things that you enjoy doing, but sometimes you do get really good. And this like stupid niche sport becomes a huge part of your life. People who go with the intention to have fun and meet people become part of your life too. We started this as friends. We've known each other for years. It was just something fun to do. Not only are we so much closer, we have this like lore within our friendship. We have made so many friends just by showing up at the same place once a week. It honestly feels really vulnerable to even share this because this place is so precious to me and it means so much. I just felt it was important to share this. I've seen the wonders having a third place can do for your mental health, your sense of belonging, being able to tether away from your work life and having it not define you as much. We'll need more options for third places, especially those that are free and not.
See what you call third space. This is a third space as well. This is a third space as well. This is also a third space. This, including as well, is a third space. We can go on and on and on about things that your ancestors had and how these things translates in today's generation. Obviously, in today's time, you cannot have access to this because that would be super racist. Because we really want to make people believe that today times have changed, right? When in reality, things have not. You cannot do what your ancestors used to do. What you don't realize with these third spaces, they were created by people who just don't want to associate with others. This was a problem that we had in the past, you know. Mind you, by the way, black people did not have these things. We only had them, and even when we had them, they just did not look like that. And after all, For people to even create the third spaces, then hire people of color to clean off those spaces really makes no sense. Because how would you? This is downright trying to humiliate us into nothingness, basically. Your ancestors had this because they lived in a time where it was very okay to just be blunt and be European and proud. You had a time to worry about, you had no time to worry about depression because that was not your reality to deal with. You just lived in this bubble and that is okay. However, let's talk about how this, isolation translates in today's time. You have to ensure that you earn a lot of money. Of course, by default, you are white, so apparently, you are going to have to live in a good neighborhood that will automatically put you in a good environment to socialize with people, that will put you in a space for you to not focus on your depression. Like the lady that I stitched No Shade to her, she has found people that look like her in an environment that has no people of color. And that's something that you need. You need to place yourself in an environment with people that looks like you to be yourself. You can be openly and nobody's really gonna give a F. You can even use the N word and nobody really gonna care because everybody looks the same as you. It becomes your comfort zone. And this really, what used to be your entertainment as well is to play on the heads of other people that looked like they weren't the same skin tone as you. So now you create this little pops because every little thing that you used to create are now buildings, because you don't want black people in those spaces anymore. So you'd rather build buildings, the top buildings, because you are that insecure about yourself. But again, I really want you to see who really started this third space thingy. And let's introduce the white man who did it. Of course, it's a white man that creative when it comes to distractions.
Third places are not simply the places you go that are not work and are not home. I see a lot of oversimplification of this by people just listing off things like public parks, coffee shops, libraries, and then et cetera, et cetera. And to get to the bottom of what we're actually yearning for, we have to go back to the origin of this idea. Third place was originally coined by Ray Oldenburg in The Great Good Place. And in this book, he describes 8 characteristics of third places, which are as follows. 1. Neutral ground. Occupants of third places have little to no obligation to be there. They are not tied down to the area financially, politically, legally, or otherwise, and are free to come and go as they please. 2. Leveler. Third places put no importance on an individual's status in society. One's socioeconomic status does not matter in a third place, allowing for a sense of communality among its occupants. There are no prerequisites or requirements that will prevent acceptance or participation in the third place. 3. Conversation. Playful conversation is the main focus of activity in third places, although it is not required to be the only activity. 4. Accessibility. They must be open and readily accessible, and they must be accommodating, meaning that they provide the wants of their inhabitants and all occupants feel that their needs have been fulfilled. 5. The regulars. These regulars give the place its tone and help set the mood and characteristics of the area. The regulars also attract newcomers and are there to help someone new to the space feel welcome and accommodated. 6. A low profile. Third places are characteristically inside of a third place is without extravagance or grandiosity and has a homey feel. Third places are never snobby or pretentious and are accepting of all types of individuals from various walks of life. 7. The mood is playful. Third places have a playful nature where witty conversation and frivolous banter are not only common but highly valued. And this one little bit I disagree with a little bit, the tone of conversation in third places is never marked with tension or hostility. And number 8, a home away from home. Occupants of third places will often have the same feelings of warmth, possession, and belonging as they would in their own homes. They feel a piece of themselves is rooted in the space and gain spiritual regeneration by spending time there. Now that we've gone through this, let's ask ourselves 3 questions. Number 1, did those characteristics describe this sleek coffee shop where everybody is working side by side, individually on their own work from home jobs? No, it didn't. Number 2, did I actually describe what a third place is yet? No, I did not. I described characteristics of what you might notice in a third place, but we haven't gotten to yet what the core of it actually is. And lastly, what are we looking to do in these places? Because it's not just about feeling good and making friends. Do you see what I'm getting at yet?
In all its rudeness, black people have been telling you, people of color, if it's not black people, it's other races as well within the minorities. I hope I made sense. Within the POC. Okay, within the POC. They've been telling you guys that you have a third space in its initial core, meaning it's because you don't want to associate with people that are not really like you. You'll like it for your own exploitation and entertainment, but you don't really like it as a social thing. This is why you would build buildings on parks that you'd no longer want to utilize, or you'd no longer maintain the parks that you used to go to because you don't really want other people to enjoy what you used to enjoy. So you'd rather just destroy everything. and black people are called to be the savage one, uncivilized, and the one that needs civilization. But anyways, I digest.
I'm feeling very hateful this morning, so I'm going to address this. I've been seeing one too many, and I am so sorry, but I've been seeing one too many white people, especially white men, come on this app and complain about the lack of third spaces. Stop complaining to us. Go and complain to your parents. Your parents were comfortable turning everything under the sun into a parking lot and building roads through every single person's neighborhood because they didn't want black and brown people around them. They took away parks, they took away swimming pools, they took away whole neighborhoods. And you benefited from that. You live comfortably in your white space. In fact, I feel like the only reason you're complaining about this now is because you can no longer afford to live in those spaces. So now you have to live with the people your parents drove you away from, and they don't have third spaces either. And now you're like, oh, life sucks. Yeah, people have been saying that. If you paid attention to anyone other than yourselves, you would have noticed this for years. Parks didn't disappear overnight.
Like, really, for real. We've been trying to tell you this thing for years and ends, but no. It was nice when it was beneficial to you. It was nice when it worked for you. But now it's no longer nice because you cannot maintain the space that you used to live in, or your parents used to live in. You even live in areas that are not even your homes. They're stolen lands. You moved people from their homes so that you can occupy that land because it's much prettier for you to live there. That was civilization for you. So you move civilization from what we see as civilization, create your own version of some civilization which contains plastics and a lot of harmful substances that you use, right, and call it civilization. And we call you out for that. And you're like, no, nothing is wrong, until it starts hitting you, until it starts coming to you. Now you're like, oh man, this sucks. Of course it sucks. It sucks because now you can feel it, huh? It sucks because now you are experiencing depression that we've been experiencing, that we never really had. We never really had parks. People really never cared much for the spaces that we live in. Nobody really cleaned, okay? You'd smell urine from a mile away because, well, yeah, you had public toilets that were cleaned by people of color, and you had really a nice setting that you created for yourself that it makes it easier for you to live. It makes life much more comfortable. You even took some of our teaching, make it your own, and just downright just cutter our lives as much as possible. And now you want to have peace, and which peace? You're not getting peace, You're not.